Genesis 44. And Joseph commanded the steward of his house, saying, Fill the men's sacks with food, as much as they can carry, and put each man's money in the mouth of his sack. Also, put my cup, the silver cup, in the mouth of the sack of the youngest, and his grain money. So the steward did according to the word that Joseph had spoken. Verse 3. As soon as the morning dawned, the men were sent away, they and their donkeys. When they had gone out of the city and were not yet far off, Joseph said to the steward, Get up, follow the men, and when you have overtaken them, say to them, Why have you repaid evil for good? Is it not the one from which my Lord drinks? In other words, he's now telling the steward, then you're going to search the sacks, and when you find that cup, you're going to say, Is this not the one from which my Lord drinks? And with which he indeed practices divination, because he wants to say they stole it, and by divination he saw that they stole it, not that he planted it. You have done evil in so doing. Verse 6. So the steward overtook them, and he spoke to them these same words. And they, this is the brothers, said to him, Why does my Lord say these words? Far be it from us that your servant should do such a thing. Look, we brought back to you from the land of Canaan the money which we found in the mouth of our sacks the first time he's referring to. How then could we steal silver or gold from your Lord's house? In other words, if we were going to bring the money we thought you put in by error, why are we going to steal now, whether it's gold or silver? Verse 9. With whomever of your servants it is found, so the silver cup, let him die. And we also will be my Lord's slave. In other words, they are so convinced they have nothing that they could say something like that. And he said, Now also let it be according to your words. He with whom it is found shall be my slave, and you shall be blameless. In other words, the one who doesn't have it, they'll be blameless and free. Then each man speedily let down his sack to the ground, and each opened his sack. So obviously the steward searched. He began with the oldest and left off or finished off with the youngest. And the cup was found in Benjamin's sack. Then the brothers tore their clothes, and each man loaded his donkey and returned to the city. So Judah and his brothers came to Joseph's house, and he was still there, and they fell before him on the ground. So there again they're falling before him, just like the prophecy said. And Joseph said to them, What deed is this that you have done? Did you not know that such a man as I can certainly practice divination? Then Judah said, What shall we say to my Lord? What shall we speak? Or how shall we clear ourselves? God has found out the iniquity of your servants. Here we are, my Lord's slaves, both we and he also with whom the cup was found. But he said, Far be it from me that I should do so. The man in whose hand the cup was found, he shall be my slave. And as for you, go up in peace to your father. In other words, they're saying, all of us will be your slaves. And Joseph's saying, no, I can't do that. Only the guilty one. The others can go free. Verse 18, Then Judah came near to him and said, O my Lord, please let your servant speak a word in my Lord's hearing. And do not let your anger burn against your servant, for you are even like Pharaoh. Understand your authority, your position, but I need to explain, and don't get angry while I'm explaining. My Lord asked his servant, saying, Have you a father or a brother? And we said to my Lord, We have a father, an old man, and a child of his old age, who is young. His brother is dead. In other words, they still thinking Joseph is dead. And he alone is left of his mother's children. And his father loves him. Then you said to your servants, Bring him down to me, that I may set my eyes on him. And we said to my Lord, The lad cannot leave his father, for if he should leave his father would die. But you said to your servants, Unless your youngest brother comes down with you, you shall see my face no more. So it was, when we went up to your servant my father, that we told him the words of my Lord. And our father said, Go back and buy us a little food. But we said, we cannot go down if our youngest brother is with us. Then we will go down, for we may not see the man's face unless our youngest brother is with us. Then your servant my father said to us, you know that my wife bore me 2 sons. So he's talking about Rachel now. And the one went out from me, and I said, surely he is torn to pieces, and I have not seen him since. That's the story that the brothers came back and told after they'd sold Joseph into slavery. And so his father has that story printed in his mind. Verse 29. But if you take this one also, that is Benjamin, from me, and calamity befalls him, you shall bring down my grey hair with sorrow to the grave. Now therefore, when I come to your servant my father, and the lad is not with us, since his life, in other words my father's Jacob, is bound up with the lad's life, that's Benjamin, it will happen when he sees that the lad is not with us, that he will die. So your servants will bring down the grey hair of your servant our father with sorrow to the grave. For your servant, Judah is talking, became surety for the lad to my father, saying, if I do not bring him back to you, then I shall bear the blame before my father forever. It's interesting that Judah puts up his life for Benjamin, representing Christ putting up his life for the world. Verse 33, now therefore please let your servant remain, in other words, let me remain, instead of the lad, Benjamin, as a slave to my Lord, and let the lad go up with his brothers. For how shall I go up to my father if the lad is not with me, lest perhaps I see the evil that would come or find upon my father.